In this video, let's look at operators you have at your disposal in PineScript. So first, let's start with a few notes about arithmetical operators. So in PineScript, arithmetical operators and other operators as well works the same way with series and just single numbers generally. So here you have an example how it works with, like, you can just adds up like series with a number and just two numbers. It will always work this way. So in this video I will mostly work with single values just to show you it will be just easier for you to understand this way. Another thing is that with arithmetical operators you have really one shortcut that can actually help you to make your code a bit more readable and a bit shorter. So idea is following. So imagine you have like a variable defined already and you want to add to value of this variable another one. So what you can do in PineScript is to use this plus equal sign and then add your one, and this will be the same as just assigning your variable this way. But as you can see, it's much more readable and it's much easier to understand what you want to do. And you can do the same things with like multiplication, division, subtraction, and model as well. To review other basic operators I created, like a small widget. Let me edit the chart so we can explore it and just understand how it works. So let's start with just arithmetical operators. So here is an addition. So it's quite easy with addition. It works with like integer numbers as well with as a float number, and you can mix float and integer numbers, and the result will be a float number as well. And also with addition you can actually concatenate strings. So here, for example, I add up two strings. I just put a plus sign between them, and here you can see result. So it worked quite well. If you want to add like a number to a string, first you have to use str.toString function to transform your number into the string, and after that you can add up them quite easily as well. So subtraction is quite obvious. You can just subtract two numbers. There is nothing interesting. Multiplication is the same. So basically it works as we expect it to work. With division it's a bit trickier because here you have like an example why is it happening. So here's your example. You can see I divide 11 by 2 and I get 5 as a result. This is happening because they both are integer numbers, and by default if it sees two integer numbers it will output you integer number as well as a result of division. Here in the second example I put a 0 at the end of 11, so I just kind of forced PineScript to understand that this is actually a float number, and as a result I have 5.5. So be careful with what you do with your division in the PineScript. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky. So here is the modulo also operator. It's like a percentage sign. So basically it's just like integer, a reminder of division in PineScript. Here in the right column you can see comparison operators in PineScript. So basically you can use them to compare two numbers. So there are 6 of them, and all of them output true or false as output of the operator. And let's just quickly go through them. Majority of them is pretty obvious. So this is just equal sign, so we compare that 1 is equal to 2. If it's true, that you will get true. If it's false, you will get false. So it's quite simple. Less than equal. So if you want to check that two numbers are equal, you need to put two equal signs. If you want to check that two numbers are not equal, you can put exclamation mark and equal sign. This will work the same. Here's the greater sign and greater and equal. So I think it's quite easy. I don't think we need to stay on this topic quite a lot. Here at the bottom you can see logical operator. So PineScript has 3 logical operators that allows you to work with kind of logical conditions and combine them and make them more complicated. So there are 3 conditions. The first is not. So basically if you compute not of true you get false, not of false you get true. So basically just opposite. Also, you have this AND logical operator, and basically AND operator works this way that it will produce only true if both conditions are true. So basically here we have true, and we see as output true, and if it's true and false, we will have false, and false and false of course will be false as well. Also, you have this OR logical operator, and logic is pretty simple for OR as well. So if one of the conditions are true, you'll have true. If both of them are false, you will see false. So as you can see, this topic is pretty simple as well. Next, let's check two more pretty useful operators in PineScript. So first one is conditional operator, and at first it might look a bit weird for you, but I think quite quickly you will understand how it works and you will use it a lot. So basically it consists of two operators, a question mark and colon. And so here is how it works. So you have a condition, and this condition should be true or false. And after that you put question mark. And then you have your first expression, that your colon, and then your second expression. So idea is pretty simple. So PineScript look at your first condition, so basically, and if this condition is true, PineScript will execute the first expression and will output value of this expression to your variable. And if this condition is false, then PineScript will execute second like expression and will output its value to your variable. And as you can see, it's not so complicated, but idea is that you can create much more complicated, like nested cases of this operator. So here, for example, you have like pretty much the same example, but instead of like a second expression here, I have another like full conditional operator, and basically here I have choices from three different condition, basically three options. So as you can see, it's quite useful. The last operator I want to talk about in this video is history reference operator. It's quite a simple operator, but still very powerful, and I use it quite a lot in my coding. So basically history operator allows you to get some data from the past, basically. So here's an example. So history operator actually is just the square brackets and the number between these brackets. And if you put your history operator at 0, basically you will get your current clause. So basically you can just have it without history operator and you will have the same value. If you put 1 at your history operator, you will get previous value. So in this case, it will be previous clause for the previous bar. If you take history operator with 10 bars, it will be a clause 10 bars ago. So as you can see, it's quite simple. And you can apply history operator to other built-in variables, like here is, for example, previous average of open, high, low, close. And also you can apply it to like other variables you have, like open, high, low, close for volume and so on. Also you can compute your own variables, and after that you can apply history operator to your own variables as well. And even you can compute an expression. For example, here I can compute a simple moving average, and before I apply it to my variable, I apply like one day history operator to it. So basically I delay like entire expression by 1 bar. And be careful that you cannot use in history operator negative numbers. So basically you cannot get data from the future, obviously. And also be careful with like the first bar in your bar set, because for the first bar, history operator might return not available. The last topic of this video is operator precedence. Quite often you might need to create pretty complicated expressions combining multiple operators at the same time. Here, for example, I have a pretty complex variable defined, and here you can see I combined multiple things. So for example, I have a historical operator, I have like a more than equal operator, I have AND statement, a logical operator, here I have a conditional operator, like some function call, and so on. And I think it's important to know how all this operator works together, because in PineScript they have all priority, and basically PineScript has an order in which it will compute all these operators, and some goes first and some goes last. And here I have all these operators basically with like priority number. So the bigger is number, the faster PineScript will execute this operator. So let's go quickly to understand what's going on. So first, the operator that will be computed first, it will be like historical operator. Then you have unary plus and minus, so basically like just a number, -1 plus 2. Then it goes like multiplication and division and modulo. Then it goes plus and minus. Then it goes like comparisons between your things. Then it goes equal sign and not equal, then and, then or, and the last one is conditional operator. So be careful with that. If you have really complex like expressions and you're not sure, you can basically overwrite the kind of the how PineScript works with these kind of operators by adding brackets. So if you want certain like piece of the code to be computed first, you can just add like brackets here, for example, and you will be sure that this operator will be computed before this one.